What's up guys, Coach Az here. Today we're going to take a hard look at ourselves and we're going to ask, why are we not improving at our given martial arts or fighting style? I'm going to give you 5 reasons why possibly your progress has stagnated or you feel like you've hit a plateau and that you're just not seeing the growth and improvement that you want to from your training. And all of this is fixable. So none of this is, out of your control. All of this can be sorted. Let's jump straight into the list with number 1. Number 1, you're not training often enough. You're just not putting in the hours. You're not putting in the time. Now, this might be because let's say you're younger and your parents pay for your training and they can only afford for you to go once or twice a week. A very realistic situation. And the reality is that once you get past your newbie gains, where the sport is new or the martial art is new, and therefore every week you're learning something, every week you're making progress. But once you get past that point, it obviously is going to start to teeter off. And that's only exacerbated by you not training regularly. Now, the obvious answer on how to fix this is to train more, get to more classes. But if that's not an option, then you just need to look at how you can start supplementing your training outside of class. This might be going for a run to improve your cardio, doing some bodyweight strength training at home to increase your power. And don't underestimate the value of things like shadow boxing, or if you're working a kicking martial art, kicking drills up against the wall. If you're a boxer, boxing with very light weights in your hands. There's plenty of things that you can do in your own time to help you improve at your sport. Number 2, you're not training with the right intensity. This is one that I see at my school all the time. People come, they put in the time, they put in the hours, they're there week after week, but their intensity is far below what it needs to be in order for them to grow and improve. They're simply going through the motions. The way you really know if someone's just going through the motions is that they're often holding a conversation with their training partners. If you've got the ability to have a full-blown conversation whilst you're training, you're not training intensely enough. Now, I'm not saying no pain, no gain, but I'm saying that you need to go into your training with a level of focus. You need to go in there with the idea that you're trying to improve 1% off of your performance last time. Your punch isn't going to get faster without you trying to throw it faster. You're not going to kick higher without focusing on kicking higher. But note that I say the right intensity. Because example, you're doing BJJ and you're flow rolling. That's not meant to be hardcore, brutal, intense rolling, but it's meant to be relaxed, flowing, so that you can be creative, so that you can see and feel the ideas of the positions and the access to submissions that you have. But it still needs to come with a level of focus, a level of intention with your training. Number 3, you're not asking enough questions or you're not asking the right questions. I think a lot of people think that it's annoying to a coach if you constantly ask questions during class. There's a time and a place for it, so it can be annoying if you're using it as a stalling tactic, if you're using it as a way of getting out of the intense training. But there's a big difference between that and being inquisitive, between trying to actually get more information or a deeper understanding. I can't speak for all coaches, but I know for myself, I enjoy it when my students ask questions because it helps me to fill the gaps in their knowledge, and it also helps me to understand what I'm not communicating clearly to the students. When you're a coach and you've got years of experience behind you, you can often leave things out when you're teaching because for you, it's obvious. For you, it goes without saying. But for people who are learning it, especially at the early stages, these things are not as obvious to them. Things like turning your shoulder in when you throw a cross in order to develop power by putting your body weight behind it. For me, that's a no-brainer. But for a complete beginner, they have no concept of that, and it's important that I communicate that across. So when you feel like you don't understand something, or there's something about a certain sequence or technique that's confusing you, don't be afraid to ask coach and get more information. Number 4, you're not putting enough focus on recovery. So if you fix number 1 and number 2, you're training enough and you're training with intensity, recovery becomes really, really important. And this actually starts before the class is even finished by ensuring that you're stretching at the end of the session to keep you loose and mobile. Now, beyond what you do at class, this is things like getting adequate amounts of sleep. Remember, All our recovery is done when we're in our sleep state. So you might go home and rest, but if you're staying up till late at night, if you're getting up early in the mornings, what that's going to mean is your body's not recovering from the last workout. So every time you go back into the gym, every time you go back to train, you're training at a lesser capacity than you did before. So even if you're going in and putting in the hours and you're coming with the right intensity, you're not able to develop the same output that you were the day before. Recovery also means good nutrition. I did a video recently on Nutrition 101 for fighters, so I'll link that in the description box below. Make sure that you're getting the right vital nutrients, enough protein, enough carbs to fuel you, enough fats to balance out your hormones, staying well hydrated. Hydration is a big one. Before you arrive at training, you need to be hydrated. You can't be playing catch up once the workout starts and you start sweating. And finally, number 5, you're not training with the right people. Now, I don't necessarily mean you're not training in the right gym or you haven't got the right coach, although those are possibilities as well. I mean that you're not picking the right training partners to make sure that you're getting the most out of your sessions. Yeah, you know who you are. You're going with someone who's always a lot lighter than you, a lot smaller than you, a lot less experienced than you. All of these things mean that you need to end up lowering your intensity, that you don't get pushed outside of your comfort zone. There's obviously nothing wrong with occasionally training with someone who's lighter than you, but you got to understand that there's going to be a power differential. So you trying to hit pads and improve your speed and power whilst working with someone who you've got a 30-pound weight advantage on, you can see how that's just not going to work. There's nothing wrong with going with someone less experienced than you. In fact, sometimes this is a good thing because it puts you in a position to develop your confidence, and it can also help you to have the opportunity to teach a little bit, which just helps to distill the knowledge in yourself even better. But it should go without saying that it's really important that you train with people who are as good as you, and ideally people who are better than you, people who are going to take you beyond what you're currently standing at. Don't avoid the strong sparring partners. Don't avoid the higher grades in the class. In fact, I implore you to gravitate towards these people and spend more time with them, because they're where the growth happens. That's where all the information is, and that's where the right approach, the right attitude to training is going to be found. That's where you want to direct your energy. Alright, so if you feel like you've hit a plateau, then here's 5 things that you can change today to make sure that you are making those improvements. 1, increase your training frequency. Train more often. 2, increase that training intensity. Make sure you're going into the gym with the right focus. 3, ask more questions. Fill those gaps of your knowledge by speaking to your coach and making sure that you fully understand the concepts that are being presented to you. 4, work on your recovery. Get enough sleep. Get adequate hydration, get good nutrition, stretch and maintain your mobility. And finally, train with the right people. Get those good solid training partners who are going to push you, who are going to make you uncomfortable, and who are going to help take you to the next level with your training. Guys, I hope this video has been helpful. Please let me know what you want to see down in the comment section below. Hit that like button for me, hit subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.